It is my honor to be with you all today, and it is my distinct privilege to bring to you a personal message from His Majesty, King Charles. It reads, I am greatly saddened not to be with you in...
You okay?
Well, he's left a giant-sized hole in our lives. I think the whole grieving process is probably likely for us to take a lot longer. It's only when you would do the normal things that you would have done with them and you suddenly realize that they are not there, that you really start to have a, oh my goodness moment.
Royal insiders are abuzz with whispers of a moment so powerful, it left even the most stoic members of the monarchy stunned. A revelation, delivered under cover of night, came not from a press office or palisade, but from one of the royal family's most trusted and steadfast figures. Duchess Sophie, the ever-composed wife of Prince Edward, emerged from the shadows in a way no one could have foreseen. Her message, devastating, unforgettable. It was late deep into the velvet silence of night when the glow of Buckingham Palace's chandeliers cast long, solemn shadows on the walls. In an intimate gathering of close family, Sophie stepped forward with trembling grace. Her voice, normally a pillar of calm, broke softly through the hush. He's fighting so hard, she confided, her words nearly catching in her throat. But the doctors, they say he may not last much longer. That sentence so quietly uttered, yet so thunderously fell tripled through the corridors like a haunting bell toll. Even the most composed royals were left shaken, many moved to tears. And what followed was even more astonishing. A discreet, royal decree, sanctioned by the king himself, issued in the hours that followed one that would subtly but profoundly alter the course of royal destiny. At its heart were Prince William and Catherine, standing at the threshold of history. But this was more than a procedural matter of succession. This was a seismic shift in power, a transition of trust, and for Catherine, it marks an elevation beyond precedent, placing her in a position more potent than any Princess of Wales before her. Stay with us as we peel back the layers of this deeply emotional turning point. Subscribe now for more exclusive revelations from behind palace walls. Duchess Sophie has long been regarded as the monarchy's silent strength, dubbed the royal family's secret weapon by those in the know. Her role, often understated, has never been more vital than now. Palace insiders describe her presence as quietly commanding, a steady hand, a subtle glance, a rare blend of empathy and resolve. That fateful night, her words weren't simply an update, they were a call, a quiet rally to brace for what lies ahead. Royal admirers have often noted her unbreakable bond with the late Queen Elizabeth, who considered Sophie not just a daughter-in-law but a confidant. Now, as King Charles confronts his most grueling battle, Sophie's position has taken on new gravity. This isn't about titles or pageantry. It's about loyalty forged in fire and a deeply human connection now tested by looming loss. What she delivered that night wasn't a press release. It was love, urgency, truth, and it changed everything. Sources inside the palace revealed the king's condition has drawn the family closer than ever before. But it was Sophie's late-night revelation that marked the true pivot. It wasn't about media spectacle. It wasn't for headlines. It was the raw, unfiltered reality, spoken with aching honesty that left no room for denial. One insider described the atmosphere as sacred, saying the moment became an emotional thread that pulled the family tighter together. As night gave way to early dawn, so too did the emergence of the decree, a document that signaled not only a practical shift but the dawn of a new royal era. But why Sophie? Why her to speak these words? Because in this uncertain hour, she is more than family. She is the bridge, the rare figure who links the legacy of the past with the promise of the future. Her rising visibility, especially amid the king's health crisis, is no accident. She has become the monarchy's voice of steady transition. Wasn't just an announcement, it was a coronation of trust. Duchess Sophie has always transcended her title. She represents quiet strength in a world where grandeur too often speaks louder than character. Her journey from marrying into royalty to becoming a cornerstone of it has been built not on pomp, but on unwavering dedication. Her closeness to Queen Elizabeth was well known. A bond many say was as intimate as mother and daughter. Now, as King Charles faces one of the most defining challenges of his life, Sophie has once again emerged as his trusted confidant. His steady in force, she's taken on duties with grace, filled roles left vacant by others, and delivered speeches that echo with heartfelt sincerity. Hers is a service of presence constant, composed, and deeply felt. In recent months, as the number of active royals continues to shrink, Sophie has stepped into the breach, attending hospital wards, military events, and diplomatic functions once led by the king himself. Those close to the palace speak of a mutual respect between her and Charles, one built on truth-telling and loyalty. In 2025, as he undergoes extended cancer treatment, Sophie has become his voice, his proxy in both protocol and spirit. At the Srebrenica anniversary in Bosnia, she stood before the world, tears quietly brimming, As she read his message aloud, her voice trembled, but carried imbued with a dignity that struck all who listened. It was a moment that said everything. So when she finally spoke of his prognosis that night, few were surprised. It was an extension of who she is. In this uncertain chapter of royal history, Duchess Sophie reminds us of a timeless truth. Real strength in royalty is not shouted, it's felt quietly, deeply, and without fail. King Charles, for his part, has shown inspiring resilience. But behind palace walls, a different story is unfolding. Diagnosed with cancer in February 2024, he has fought with admirable grace. Yet as treatment stretches into 2025, the toll has become more visible. Chemotherapy, side effects, and hospital stays have all worn on him. His appearance at state visits marked by a bloodshot eye and uncharacteristic fatigue has only fueled concern. And then came Duchess Sophie's late-night whisper, confirming what many had feared. In a break from the palace's typical guarded silence, a deeper truth has begun to surface. Behind the regal smiles and public appearances, the reality is stark. Doctors have privately warned the royal family, if King Charles's condition continues to deteriorate, the end may come sooner than expected. Still, the king has pressed on, appearing at Trooping the Color, hosting state banquets, offering a brave front to a nation watching closely. But behind the scenes, the changes are unmistakable. From a burst blood vessel initially feared to be something far worse to his ongoing, grueling treatments, the toll is becoming harder to hide. Duchess Sophie's emotional disclosure wasn't just an update, it was a plea, a deeply human call to savor the moments that remain. In the quiet reverberations of her late-night message, the palace acted. Without fanfare, under King Charles's own authority, a royal decree was quietly issued. Its implications are historic. This wasn't just a symbolic gesture, it was a recalibration of the monarchy's inner machinery. At its center, Prince William and Catherine, now positioned as the heart of the crown's future. This isn't a disruption of the established succession. William remains the undisputed heir, but it is a bold pivot, a deliberate acceleration of responsibility, empowering the next generation to lead sooner. Palace insiders call it a visionary move, a plan forged not in crisis, but in careful anticipation. Continuity in the face of uncertainty. The decree outlines a streamlined, more agile royal structure, one where William and Catherine assume greater control, not only in ceremonial duties, but in decision-making and public leadership. And what catalyzed this transformation? The king's ongoing health battle, of course, with treatment stretching into another year and concern mounting. Charles has reportedly taken steps to future-proof the institution he's fought so long to preserve. His vision is unmistakably modern, a monarchy that reflects relevance, resilience, and renewed purpose. In this vision, William's passion for environmental action and Catherine's tireless advocacy for early childhood development become the beating heart of the royal brand. Make no mistake, this is not abdication. It is delegation, executed on a monumental scale. Royal historians note that the move echoes transitions of the past, yet it carries a distinct twist. The devolution of authority is happening earlier, more intentionally, and Sophie's role in conveying this decree lends it gravity. Her reputation for impartiality and her proximity to the king give her words unique weight. While the full contents of the decree remain tightly held, trusted sources confirm its reach. Enhanced diplomatic authority for Prince William, expanded charitable influence for Catherine. One insider described it as a night of unspoken understanding. A glance here, a nod there. A family unified in sorrow but determined in purpose. Succession remains secure, William, then George, followed by Charlotte and Louis. But this document signals something more: a monarchy refreshed, with the Wales family rising as its new fulcrum. As King Charles continues to battle privately, this move ensures that his legacy is already in motion. Yet it is Catherine's rise that captures the imagination. For the first time in generations, a Princess of Wales is being vested with real influence, authority that transcends ceremonial expectations. Prince William and Catherine have always represented the future, but this decree does something different. It anchors them in the now. They are no longer just heirs. They are architects, strategists, leaders actively shaping the monarchy's present course. William, ever the steady force, has quietly prepared for this moment, but the pace has quickened. Palace insiders recount deeply personal conversations between father and son, in which King Charles expressed both pride and reassurance. "You've got what it takes," he reportedly told William. A rare moment of paternal vulnerability that moved the room to tears. Catherine's place in all of this is equally pivotal. Balancing motherhood with monarchy, she has emerged as the emotional epicenter of the royal family. Her grace at engagements, her keen instincts, her steady composure, these qualities have not gone unnoticed. Now her influence is formalized. The decree casts William and Catherine as a formidable duo, united in mission, aligned in leadership. Their joint appearances at Wimbledon, the Chelsea Flower Show, even quieter family outings have taken on new significance. These aren't just public displays, they're blueprints of co-leadership, glimpses of how the future monarchy will look and feel. Sources close to the family say their bond has become a quiet strength for the institution. William's warm charisma balances Catherine's composed elegance. Their unity sends a powerful message in turbulent times. The crown is not just enduring, it's evolving. But this evolution is not without emotion, with King Charles's prognosis weighing heavily on their hearts. William and Catherine have stepped into the void not out of ambition, but out of love and duty. They grieve and lead in equal measure, managing personal heartbreak while shining publicly. Their journey feels deeply relatable, a couple navigating pressure, family, and responsibility with grace. As one royal observer noted, they are not just the bridge to the next generation, they are the embodiment of its promise. This decree cements that role, from spearheading environmental reforms to reshaping family-centered programs. But it is Catherine's unprecedented elevation that stands out most. Her influence now outpaces every Princess of Wales who came before her. Catherine, Princess of Wales, is stepping into a realm of authority rarely granted to women in her position. For the first time in more than a century, the title carries not just symbolism, but power. The decree grants her the ability to issue royal warrants, an honor not seen since Queen Alexandra's time in the early 1900s. This isn't ceremonial fluff. It's a genuine shift in royal capability, giving Catherine the ability to endorse products, shape cultural influence, and directly support British commerce in meaningful ways. Palace insiders call it a game changer, a reflection of the king's profound trust in her vision, judgment, and leadership. Unlike predecessors Princess Diana, whose legacy remains iconic, or Queen Camilla, who once avoided the title altogether, has embraced the role and redefined it. She fuses the timelessness of royal tradition with the urgency of modern leadership. Amid the backdrop of King Charles's health battle, Catherine's rise is not just strategic, it is symbolic. A new chapter begins, led by a woman who understands that strength is not always loud but always unshakable. This moment already being hailed by royal historians as one of profound significance signals more than a change in visibility. It elevates Catherine not merely as a supportive consort, but as a co-architect of the monarchy's next chapter. What distinguishes her is not dramatic speeches or headline-grabbing moves, but the quiet command with which she shapes royal life. Palace sources describe her as holding the reins of power with an almost effortless grace, a strength that whispers rather than shouts. Unlike Princess Diana, whose fiery charisma often collided with institutional constraints and ignited media storms, Catherine wields influence through balance and foresight. Diana's brilliance captivated the world, but came at a heavy personal cost. In contrast, Catherine entered royal life after years of steady courtship, maturity, and preparation. Her foundation was built on resilience, not reaction, that has made all the difference. She divides her time with precision, nurturing Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, while standing firmly at Prince William's side as he steps further into his role as future king. Aides call her indispensable, especially following her own courageous and largely private battle with cancer, an ordeal she faced with grace, never wavering in her public commitments. The royal decree issued earlier this year now formalizes Catherine's expanded influence. Her responsibilities extend beyond traditional patronages to include diplomatic engagements and environmental leadership that aligns with William's Earthshot Prize. She's more than a consort, one senior source confided. She's a true partner and advisor, a strategist. Her input shapes the future of the monarchy, and she does it without ever seeking the spotlight. Catherine's ascension reflects a fundamental shift in royal power dynamics. Her authentic, grounded, approachable nature stands in stark contrast to the rigid protocols that confined earlier figures like Queen Camilla. During her early years in the firm, Camilla worked behind the scenes, opting for discretion, even avoiding the Princess of Wales title, out of respect for Diana's legacy. Catherine has taken a different path. She honors the past, yes, but she isn't defined by it. She channels her platform into transformative causes, from championing mental health through initiatives like Heads Together to pioneering early childhood development with the Royal Foundation Center for Early Childhood. These aren't ceremonial obligations. They are missions driven by personal conviction and shaped by lived experience. And it's emotional. Think of her gentle maternal gestures at Trooping the Color, guiding her children with quiet warmth. Those are not stage-managed moments. They are glimpses of a woman extending the compassion of a mother to a nation. During her recovery, Catherine's video messages reflected raw honesty. Vulnerability has become a source of strength, and people feel it. As William moves ever closer to the throne, Catherine's influence expands in lockstep. From global women's empowerment campaigns to family-focused programs, she's emerging as a royal leader in her own right. But this rise has not come without deep personal reflection. Insiders reveal that Catherine initially hesitated to embrace the Princess of Wales title. The specter of Diana, so beloved, so tragic, still loomed large. She knew comparisons would be inevitable, but instead of shrinking beneath that legacy, she has chosen to honor it while forging her own identity, one defined by composure, empathy, and quiet evolution. Ironically, her reduced public presence in 2025 due to health priorities has only magnified her importance. Her scarcity has turned into symbolism, a figure of resilience, a reminder of the monarchy's human face, and soon, her responsibilities will grow even further. Beginning in 2026, she will hold the power to issue royal warrants, an authority unseen in her role for over a century. With that comes the ability to endorse sustainable brands or amplify wellness initiatives, modern causes that blend tradition with transformation. This isn't simply about prestige, it's about purpose. It's legacy building in real time. One royal commentator captured it perfectly. Catherine is redefining what it means to be Princess of Wales, not just with elegance, but with enduring impact. As the royal family weathers this time of transition, her role becomes increasingly inspirational. Proof that power, when coupled with authenticity, doesn't divide, it unites. But even as Catherine rises, the effects ripple through the House of Windsor like a quiet storm. That fateful night when Duchess Sophie delivered the devastating words was not a solitary moment. It was a flashpoint that drew the family together. Prince Edward stood firmly at her side, a silent pillar of strength, their decades-long bond now deepened by sorrow. Palace insiders say Edward's calming presence helped Sophie steady herself as she spoke, anchoring her in the darkest hour. Princess Anne, ever indomitable, has responded as expected, shouldering more engagements and offering the king private encouragement with her characteristic resolve. Even the York sisters, Beatrice and Eugenie, have emerged from their usual reserve. Their public gestures may be smaller, clasped hand, a supportive gaze, but they speak volumes about the family's deepening sense of solidarity. Still, beneath the surface, there are murmurs of unease. This decree, which so firmly centers William and Catherine, represents a seismic shift. Some within the inner circle have been taken aback by how swiftly the landscape is changing. The acceleration is undeniable, and so is the symbolism. The public, however, has responded with overwhelming support. Social media has been flooded with messages for King Charles, praise for his dignity, prayers for his strength. Posts honoring his decades of service and heartfelt wishes for healing have trended across platforms. The nation watches with empathy and reverence, because beyond the tradition and the titles, this is, at its core, a human story. A father battling illness, a son stepping into legacy, a wife redefining power, a family navigating love, duty, and change in real time. And as the world looks on, one thing becomes clear: this is not just a royal transition, it is a transformation etched in emotion, guided by resilience, and shaped by the quiet strength of the woman now standing at the heart of it all. From the steady stream of social media posts praising King Charles's perseverance to viral tributes celebrating Duchess Sophie's candor as a beacon of truth, the nation's collective response has been one of heartfelt empathy. This outpouring reflects a public deeply moved not by grandeur, but by the royals' very real vulnerability. Charity leaders who have long collaborated with the king now speak openly about the impact of his health struggles, lauding the family for maintaining both unity and unwavering commitment to service. One senior aide offered a rare glimpse behind the curtain, calling Charles's journey a testament to the noblest parts of humanity, a quiet, enduring strength that continues to inspire those fighting their own battles. Across the world, fans have turned to online platforms to share personal stories, creating a digital chorus of compassion. Hashtags like #SupportTheKing have trended globally, transforming royal updates into moments of collective reflection. Inside palace walls, the emotions have run just as deep. Insiders say that Sophie's late-night revelation brought not just tears, but a renewed closeness within the family, bonds reforged under the weight of uncertainty. At the heart of that unity stands Queen Camilla, often called the king's unwavering rock. Her presence has been essential. In private moments, she's seen offering solace, her hand on Charles's shoulder, a whispered word of comfort in hushed halls. She's the quiet strength behind the crown, a constant through chaos. Meanwhile, the younger generation, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, look to their parents with wide-eyed trust. William and Catherine shield them with tenderness, even as they take on more of the monarchy's burdens. In them, the future sees not only royalty, but resilience. Duchess Sophie's own emotional journey has become emblematic of the times, her voice quivering as she read the king's poignant message at the Srebrenica memorial in July 2025 was a moment that touched the nation. It revealed a woman deeply moved by duty, her loyalty etched into every word. Sources close to the palace share that she's felt both the honor and the weight of stepping in during Charles's hospitalizations and ongoing treatment setbacks, moments that sounded silent alarms behind palace doors. The global reaction has been one of profound growing hope. International media outlets have called the royal decree a forward-looking, human-centered shift, one that doesn't simply preserve the monarchy, it modernizes it. Quietly, world leaders have sent private messages of solidarity to the king, acknowledging both his personal fight and his visionary preparations. Royal analysts agree, under William and Catherine's leadership, the monarchy is poised to become leaner, stronger, and more adaptable. Yet, threaded through all of this transformation is a sobering truth. The sadness surrounding King Charles's prognosis, it's a poignant reminder of mortality, even under the crown's weight. But this is not just a story of sorrow, it's one of love, legacy, and unshakable resolve, a portrait of a family confronting the hardest realities with courage and care. As one commentator put it, this chapter doesn't just redefine the monarchy, it humanizes it, a throne not elevated by distance, but brought closer through shared emotion. As the echoes of Duchess Sophie's announcement begin to soften, the decree remains glowing like a beacon. It marks not a mere transfer of power, but a rebirth, one shaped by King Charles's lifetime of service and forward-thinking, now carried forward by Prince William and Catherine with both reverence and renewal. Despite battling cancer, into 2025, Charles has poured himself into ensuring that the causes closest to his heart, environmental stewardship, social equity, and cultural diplomacy, don't fade with time. He's remarkably resilient, a senior aide revealed. Every public thumbs up, every brief smile, it's his way of giving hope, even when hope is hardest to summon. Still, the decree ensures continuity, planning for every eventuality, and within its lines, Catherine's role shines with unprecedented power. No longer confined by convention, she steps fully into her expanded influence. From issuing royal warrants to leading initiatives in mental health and early childhood development, she is no longer just a royal figurehead, she is a royal force. Experts note this shift gives her tools no Princess of Wales has held in generations. She now has the authority to shape public discourse, to elevate charitable missions, to use her voice in ways that blend compassion with leadership. She's not just a consort, one royal observer said. She's a co-sovereign in spirit, quietly transforming the institution through care, clarity, and conviction. Her leadership, grounded in humility and parental wisdom, is resonating far beyond palace gates. Young people around the globe see in her a model of modern influence, one that proves strength can be both powerful and kind. So what's next for this reimagined monarchy? Expect a surge in global diplomacy, with William's statesmanship at the forefront, solidifying international ties, representing Britain's values abroad. At home, expect a renewed focus on sustainability, mental well-being, and family-centered causes. This isn't expansion, it's refinement, a smaller, sharper royal family, concentrating its energy where it matters most. Insiders describe private family huddles, intimate moments where King Charles, fighting back emotion, shares his pride in William and Catherine's preparedness. These are gatherings of tears and purpose, where tradition and innovation find harmony. And through it all, Duchess Sophie remains pivotal, the monarchy's steady hand, its quiet protector. Her presence at events like the Srebrenica commemoration, her voice laced with emotion, her posture unwavering, continues to anchor the institution in grace. This is no longer a story solely about illness, duty, or transition. It's a story of transformation, of hearts bared and bonds strengthened, of a monarchy not just surviving but evolving into something more human, more hopeful, more connected. The final pages of King Charles's reign are being written with care, but the first lines of a new chapter have already begun, etched in the resolve of William, in the compassion of Catherine, and in the unity of a family that has turned personal trials into collective strength. And as always, we want to hear from you. What do you envision for the reign of William and Catherine? How do you see the monarchy evolving in your eyes? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more royal insights as this powerful story continues to unfold, because the legacy isn't ending. It's only just beginning, brighter than ever.